A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for choosing us to inform you on this edition of TV47 News Tonight. You are just in time for the latest in the world of news, sports and business. But first, here are stories that made it to the top 3 tonight. Tonight, the Azimio La Umoja coalition has presented new evidence that they believe proves Raila Odinga won the August 9th presidential election but was cheated out of victory.
We in Azimio have maintained that the results that were announced by Chebukati did not reflect the will of Kenyans.
Plus, the Senate to set the ball rolling in the process to reconstitute the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission.
This bill will give the process on how the new commissioners will be recruited.
Senators recalled for a special sitting on Thursday. Also ahead tonight, TV47 shines a spotlight on the highs and lows that a man of the cloth tasked with guarding the country's coffers faced while in office.
I live with a lot of joy, sir, that our commission is stable.
TV47 News Tonight, the 18th edition of this year, begins right now. Very good evening to you and welcome aboard. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Catherine Simaloi will be handling the sign language interpretation. Now, just one day after the end of their 6-year tenure, preparations for selecting a new panel of commissioners for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has already begun. The Senate is set to hold a special sitting tomorrow to discuss a bill that seeks to amend the IEBC Act regarding the composition of the selection panel. Flora Limuki kicks off our coverage tonight.
Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has set the ball rolling in the process to reconstitute the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC by recalling senators for a special sitting Thursday. In a Gazette notice on Wednesday, the Speaker said the lawmakers will consider the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill 2022. The IEBC Amendment Bill 2022 is set to change the composition of the IEBC selection panel, which conducts the recruitment of IEBC commissioners.
This bill will give the process on how the new commissioners will be recruited.
President William Ruto's allies are fast-tracking the amendment to the IEBC Act. In December 2022, the National Assembly passed the bill proposed by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, which allocates 2 slots to the Parliament Service Commission and 2 slots to the Political Parties Liaison Committee. The bill will be considered by the Senate during a special sitting on Thursday.
So I understand the technical reason for the changes. But of course, there are parties that benefit from that change, and the party that benefits is the one that is in power, and that is only natural.
We gave the opportunity to majority and minority side. As you know and understand, those were one side of the political divide. A long story short, those 4 actually gave birth to the infamous OPEC 4.
The bone of contention is on the number of slots to be allocated to Parliamentary Service Commission (PSC) and the Political Parties Liaison Committee, where the Senate wants 1 position for the PSC and positions for the Political Parties Liaison Committee. Senate Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, which has been conducting public participation in the bill, will table its report to inform the debate.
Because of changing the bill, it will have to go back to the committee of the National Assembly, to look at it, and if they are comfortable and agree with the Senate, then they give it to the Speaker, and then the Speaker sends it to the President.
If it sails through, the bill will enable the Political Parties Liaison Committee, established under Section 38 of the Political Parties Act No. 11 of 2011, and the Public Service Commission to nominate 1 member to the panel. Flora Limuki, TV47.
Staying with issues to do with the IEBC, and tonight the country is staring at a constitutional crisis in the wake of IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati and Commissioners Abdi Gulier as well as Boya Molu's exit on Tuesday. Legal experts say the trio's exit has left the commission exposed where a by-election to occur given no commissioner is in office currently. Our senior political affairs reporter Polo Kamau reports.
The exit of IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati and two other commissioners, Professor Abdigulie and Boya Molu, has left IEBC exposed as no commissioner is in office to handle a by-election were it to occur, a move that would plunge the country into a legal and political crisis.
We never amended the law to allow the commissioners to be appointed before their other terms expire. What we end up knowing is a lacuna. God forbid, but if we needed to have an election today, we would have a crisis. So I think it's important that we ensure that that is changed so that the process of appointment happens earlier. By the time these ones are leaving, we are swearing in the new ones.
The resignation of three other commissioners, Vice Chair Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi and Justus Nyang'aya, over the 2022 August election fallout, save for Irene Masit, who is waiting to know her fate from the Agri Muchelule-led tribunal, worsening the situation further as IEBC requires a minimum of 3 commissioners to be properly constituted and have a quorum.
We need to stagger the appointments. We need to ensure that, for example now, that we don't appoint the entire commission, appoint half or 4. Then wait for a year or 2 and then appoint the other. So that at any one time we're having a crossover of commissioners. That way you have memory. You have people who have memory on what's been happening.
Section 5, Clause 3 of the IEBC Act stipulates the process of replacement of a chairperson or a member of the commission shall commence at least 6 months before the lapse of the term of the chairperson or member of the commission. That has not happened, which is why legal experts want the matter addressed in law.
For the Public Service Commission, they got it right. The recruitment happened 6 months to the expiry date. So what we are going through right now, we should have recruited a commissioner 6 months ago.
The process of filling IEBC commissioner slots is likely to be long and arduous after the Senate, which is meeting for a special sitting on Thursday to consider the IEBC Amendment Bill 2022, is likely to make changes to the bill, causing more delays in constituting the selection panel to pick the IEBC commissioners. Coalition supremacy wars between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio are also likely to take center stage on who controls the selection panel to have a friendly IEBC in 2027, further delaying the process.
But of course, there are parties that benefit from that change, and the party that benefits is the one that is in power, and that is only natural. I would be surprised that there isn't a party that is power that will not try to push such issues to their best advantage. But I think what is important is that once you have been appointed as a commissioner, you're no longer loyal to your political party.
Justice Muchelule-led tribunal probing the conduct of IEBC Commissioner Irene Masit is also likely to have an effect on the selection process of IEBC commissioners, a move likely to affect the timelines. This being the first day IEBC has no commissioner in office, the earliest the selection panel is expected in place is mid next month to kickstart the process of selecting IEBC commissioners, a process that will cast light on the vacuum issue. Apol Kamau, TV47 in Nairobi.
Apollo, thank you. Moving on, in a day after President William Ruto alleged that there was a plot to abduct and murder the former IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati before he announced the results of the August 2022 presidential contest, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya group has accused Chebukati of failing Kenyans by allegedly declaring unverified results on August 15th. Our reporter Mike Kagwongo reports.
Ruto William Samoei, number of valid votes, 7 million.
A day after President William Ruto claimed there was a plot to abduct and murder former IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati before he announced presidential results after the August 2022 presidential contest, Azimio leaders claim to be in possession of a fresh evidence from an IEBC employee, referred to as a whistleblower, alleging that presidential results were changed soon after Form 34Bs were received at the National Tallying Center at Bomas in Nairobi. They claim that Odinga won the race to State House with 8,170,355 votes, translating to 57.53% of the total votes cast. According to the new revelations, Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto came a distant second with 5,915,973 votes, representing 41.66% of the total votes cast.
What we have seen in one of the pages is that at one point, 144 constituencies had their results verified. And often at times, those results are far from the results that were announced by IEBC, 144 of them.
Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni has stated that the evidence was presented to the opposition faction by a whistleblower, only identified as Geoffrey Smith. Geoffrey Smith is a self-proclaimed democracy crusader popularly known for his efforts in calling out cases of mutilation in democracy. He is the founder of Vanguard Africa, a non-profit organization that has partnered with African leaders to champion democracy and undertake initiatives geared at defending the principles of democracy in elections. Kioni, while referring to the document, also says results of 59% of the constituencies could not be verified with absolute certainty.
Again, if you reach Smith, he'll tell you how he got to finish it now. We wanted the information available to us during the case so that they could have helped us during the case. IEBC refused to open the servers. That's again in the public domain.
The document and Kioni's sentiments came hours after President William Ruto claimed there was a plot to abduct and murder former IEBC boss Wafula Chebukati. The murder, the head of state explained, was to happen so that a friendly commissioner would announce Raila Odinga as the election winner against what he said was the will of the people. Azimio la Umoja coalition now claims that most of their votes were stolen from the Mount Kenya region, even as they await for their coalition leader Raila Amolo Odinga to return to the country to give a comprehensive statement.
You take time also, go through the report. We will summarize it for you. But this is a very sad moment for us as a country. It is really a sad moment for us as a country. And certainly, more information will be given to you. The way forward will also be communicated to you in a short while.
President William Ruto praised Chebukati and his colleagues Abdi Gulie and Boya Molu for upholding the constitution and the rule of law as he exited office officially on Tuesday, January 17, 2023. Last year, during Jamhuri Day celebrations, Ruto feted Chebukati with the Order of the Golden Heart Award, the highest civilian prize for what he said was bowing to the pressure of subverting the will of Kenyans on the ballot. Mike, GOtv 47, Nairobi.
Moving on, an Archbishop Emeritus Eliud Wabukala has completed his 6-year tenure as the chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC. During his tenure, there have been high-profile cases of corruption presented in court involving top government officials. Moige William now takes a closer look at the highs and lows of Wabukala's chairmanship in this report.
Retired Archbishop Eliud Wabukala's tenure at the helm of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission was characterized by high and low moments, with Kenyans setting the bar higher for a man of the cloth tasked with ensuring that the country's coffers are not looted. During the retired Archbishop's stint, EACC had undertaken and concluded investigations in respect to 501 high-impact cases on corruption and related offences as of the year 2022, while 191 others had been finalised in court, according to a report by the Commission.
I live with a lot of joy, sir, that our Commission is stable and you are free every time as government advise, share, and work out the programs of government together.
Also among the milestones achieved by the Commission under the stewardship of Wabukala in the fight against corruption is EACC going big on asset recovery, where it is pursuing over 400 civil suits filed in various courts across the country, seeking to recover public assets valued at 14 billion shillings, and also in court seeking to for unexplained wealth valued at approximately 11.6 billion shillings from public officials. Between March 1st and July 31st, 2022, EACC filed in court for recovery of over 4 billion shillings in unexplained wealth held by public officials who cannot remember or sufficiently give account of how they acquired the wealth in question.
EACC is stable, with a strategic focus on asset recovery, law enforcement, education, and awareness.
The recently concluded general election was also within Wabukala's tenure, with EACC going big on contributing to the barring of aspirants facing corruption cases. In a report earlier released by the Commission, EACC flagged 241 persons with various outstanding integrity issues relating to corruption and submitted a report to IEBC to clear or bar candidates from an election. However, out of the 241 persons, IEBC barred less than 5. It was during his time at the Anti-Corruption Agency where senior politicians, former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko and his Kiambu counterpart Ferdinand Waititu, were forever barred from holding any other state or public office, whether appointive or elective, after being removed from office for contravening Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya that touches on integrity.
In the previous, we have seen chairs of commissions being in the scene of arresting someone who has stolen money. Must you be there? What I can say, he had his dogs at EACC. He didn't bark. He let the dogs bark, and he let the dogs also bite.
Wabukala was appointed to the position by former President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2017 after the resignation of Philip Kinisu. Unlike his predecessors, governance experts know that Wabukala operated uniquely in a silent way.
Wabukala did what he could do as a human being. By the way, my brother, if you are in charge of institution, you must choose your battles. What can you do and what can't you do? What depends on you without anybody's intervention? We call them make decisions in your spheres of control, not spheres of influence. You can influence, but you cannot control. So I think that's why he went for, what can I do without the blessing of anybody? And that was the creation of the asset recovery strategy, which he was able to bring for Kenyans some money, but he goes home without someone saying, I'm against him, he did this to me, he did this to me.
Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Chief Executive Officer Twalim Baruch has hailed the outgoing chairperson, Archbishop Emeritus Eliud Wabukala, for leaving behind a stable, independent and reliable body in the fight against corruption. Moige William, TV47, Nairobi.
William, thank you very much for that. Elsewhere, and following the announcement by the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Ezekiel Machogu, that grade 7 learners will report to school on January 30th, TV47 sought to assess the preparedness of both primary. Here now is Collins Lusweti with the findings of that in that report.
Earlier this week, Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu disclosed that 13,000 schools had met the requirements to host junior secondary schools, with grade 7 pupils expected to resume learning on January 30th as CBC curriculum enters a critical stage of transition.
As of Friday, 13th January 2023, a total of 14,589 public and private schools had been assessed. Of this, 13,221 schools had been approved to host the junior secondary schools.
A visit to a number of public schools revealed that there's still work to be done in a majority of them in order to be ready to receive learners and enable efficient learning under CBC. Some say they are yet to construct laboratories.
Changamoto tu ni mambo ya mahabara, laboratories. Zaweza kuwa na nafasi ya laboratory na pia walimu ambao tunaweza kupewa ataweza kutosha kufunza madrasa yale.
Education stakeholders are also worried about the number of teachers, saying many public schools could be faced with a poor teacher-student ratio, despite an assurance from the Cabinet Secretary that there will be no shortage of teachers.
How many public primary schools do we have? More than 30,000. So it means there are even some public schools that would not have a single teacher.
A spot check around the country showed private schools are more prepared to receive grade 7 learners compared to public schools.
Each one of our schools, we are able to accommodate 4 streams in each with an average of 30 students. That will be 240 students we are expecting to get, especially from the feeder schools.
In Nairobi County, the All Saints Cathedral School is in the process of adding more classes to take care of grade 7 learners, with the school already having completed the construction of science and computer laboratories. Teachers in the school say they are 100% ready for junior secondary education.
One of the competencies is digital literacy. So we want our learners to be well equipped so that they can fit in the world wherever they go.
Science equipment and chemicals are ready. The furnitures are ready. And I can be able to confirm that we are more than ready to receive our learners.
Some of the schools we've been able to visit say they have done enough to receive grade 7 learners on 30th January, especially private schools as compared to public schools. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
Lusweti, thank you very much for that. Moving on, and the issue of land grabbing has continued to be an emotionally charged one within the city of Nairobi. And it is now becoming a growing concern as it threatens to cause conflict between the rightful owners and some developers. Dagoretti Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi has called on the government to address the issue before it escalates into a legal conflict. Here now is Paul Kirobi with more.
The issue of land grabbing allegations is still a contentious one, despite President William Ruto's promise to address the problem in areas where it has become a major challenge upon taking office. Dagoretti Member of Parliament Beatrice Elachi has spoken out on the matter, calling on the government to provide title deeds for lands owned by public schools, particularly in areas of Nairobi that have been affected by this issue recently. This as private developers have been accused of encroaching on land owned by public entities, making it difficult for schools to carry out their activities and accommodate enough students. This is particularly problematic now, as many junior secondary schools have been temporarily housed in primary schools.
We are fighting a lot of land grabbers within Lavington. We have one, the other side, where the booster is of Safaricom, and we have someone claiming that that is his land. When I got the title of the school, the booster is in the school, and I still insist to Safaricom it is important to pay. So I think in the whole of Nairobi, even in Eastlands, you'll still find the challenges that we are facing. And the biggest challenge we also face is that we don't even have that land to build schools. So one primary school carries like 4,000 kids.
According to reports, some of the land in question was illegally acquired during the previous regimes by individuals with connections to government agencies.
So these people claim that this part belongs to them. It's called Kensom Holdings. Like, when you read the narration here, it says that the whole of this part, amalgamation of these 3 plots, 1, 2, 3, was done into one in 1989. Then these people,
it was for primary.
The whole of this one is in a primary yote.
This issue comes at a time when the Ministry of Land and Physical Planning has begun digitizing land records in an effort to resolve ongoing conflicts.
Here we have more than 1,800 girls already, and I know from one we will have a very, very huge intake in terms of the kids who are coming from Kawangware. So I would really plead to government, we work together, we look at the titles, see how we can safeguard land for schools, and more importantly, where we know people feel this is land that has very high profits when they are selling.
Many of the cases concerning land grabbing have been taken to court, but some take time before they are completed. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Kenyans have been urged to provide their views on the new proposals by the National to impose higher excise duty to cosmetic products, alcohol, cigarettes and juices by the 3rd of February before these taxes are effective on the 1st of March next year. Stanley Nyaringita with more.
Consumers of luxury products, which include cosmetics and beauty products, fruit and vegetable juices, as well as alcohol and cigarettes, are set to feel the pinch if the recommendations made by the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, will be implemented on the 1st of March 2023. Cosmetic and beauty products will be hit the hardest as the taxman aims to raise stamp fees from 60 cents per stamp to 2 shillings and 50 cents, which translates to 316.7%. At the same time, stamp fees for fruit juices will go up by 266.7%, while stamp fees for alcohol and cigarettes are set to rise by 78.6%.
In terms of purchase and sale of construction materials, most of them will be taxed. Initially, there were areas that there were grey areas where the developers were taking advantage of, but I believe now KRA will tighten all those grey areas.
This comes as CS National Treasury Professor Njuguna Ndung'u Tuesday reviewed the excise duty regulations 2017 and has welcomed the public to make their recommendations by the 3rd of February, with the new taxes to be effective on the 1st of March 2023.
To Edible Oil Products Limited.
This even as President William Ruto directed the taxman to increase the tax collections annually from 2.1 trillion Kenyan shillings to 4 trillion Kenyan shillings. Stanley Nyeringita, TV 47.
Relative to last financial year.
The Nakuru County Government has now dissolved the Naivasha Level 4 Hospital Board due to poor governance and failure to oversight the facility's management a day after public outcry regarding the operations at the facility. And as Sylvia Nyongesa now tells us, the county government has appointed a team to investigate the alleged deaths at the facility.
On Tuesday, angry and disgruntled members of the public blocked the road leading to the facility in protest following the demise of a woman who is reported to have bled to death hours after delivery. This has prompted the Nakuru County government to suspend the hospital board and appoint a team to investigate the deaths in the facility as a result of alleged negligence. Issuing the directive, County Secretary Dr. Samuel Mwaura said the move was part of a restructuring process to the facility that serves an estimate of over 1,000 people every day.
The board has a mandate of doing oversight. The board is drawn, ideally, if you look at the regulation, the board should be drawn from the community of residents or service provision. And therefore, that's why we had the governor promise that when she's reconstituting the boards, we are going to have boards constituted from people who reside within that community. Because apart from oversight, the other big role of the board is to make sure they understand the issues in the community and they come and have a dialogue with the management and therefore they address them. So for these incidents to have happened, whereby it went on for several days, there was an outcry in the community. We feel that the board also failed in its mandate, being the mediator between the community and the hospital.
According to Mwaura, the hospital's huge debt of 250 million owed to suppliers frustrated its operations.
When the governor took over the office, she inherited a debt of 250 million from this hospital alone. That is undergoing audit, and some of the outcries that have been there is because of suppliers complaining they have not been paid since 2020. And therefore, I want to inform the public, because our role in doing that is that an audit is going on, the health sector audit, because we agreed with the audit team that was formed that they will do bit by bit. They will give us a report for the health sector on Friday so that we see which debts that are payable and that are not payable, so that we do further investigation. As pertaining to these particular incidents, we are doing investigations, and that's why we have only talked about the board. As to the, for the clinical procedures, we need to do a very thorough investigation. The team is already doing that. We have a preliminary report, but we want a final report, so that whichever action we take, you realize for civil servant, we have various levels of governance. There are the labor laws, which we must follow if it's disciplinary.
However, the county secretary also noted that failure to promote medical personnel since 2015 had a toll on the staff morale, as well as shortage of drugs that is being witnessed in public facilities in Nakuru. 2017.
Not even a single doctor has been employed by the county. Not even a single medic has been employed by the county. And therefore, the hospital has been employing. And then, therefore, the money that is collected here has also been used to pay for service provision, to pay for salaries, which is not a practice, which is not a good practice, because Facility Improvement Fund is supposed to focus on service delivery and not employment.
Sylvia Nyongesa, TV 47.
To the corridors of justice now, and the pre-trial case of 3 accused persons linked to the gouging out of baby Sagini's eyes is set to begin in March. Alex Maina Oshogo, Rael Nyakirario, and Pacifica Nyakirario were charged with attempted murder contrary to Section 220A of the Penal Code. Elsewhere, 2 social workers charged with trafficking kids have been put on defense. The two are alleged to have stolen 3 infants aged 8 days, 2 weeks and 2 months respectively. Here now is Andrin Kilemi with a roundup of court stories.
The 3 accused persons linked to the gouging out of baby Sagini's eyes will appear at the Kisii Law Court on the 2nd of March for a pre-trial case. Alex Maina Ochogo, Raila Nyakerario and Pacifica Nyakerario were charged with attempted murder contrary to Section 222A of the Penal Code.
Confirmed that there has been partial pre-trial that has been conducted today. The Children's Department is granted time to continue authoring the victim and the minor psychological support and care. The court reaffirms the need and importance to protect the privacy of the minor's hearing. As a result, the media and all social media users are directed to avoid coverage that would in any way infringe upon the privacy of the minors.
Elsewhere, 2 social workers charged with trafficking kids from Mama Lucy Hospital have been put on defense. The 2, Makala Fred Leparan and Selina Awor, were alleged to have stolen 3 infants aged 8 days, 2 weeks and 2 months respectively from Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital between March and November 2020. In Mombasa County, 2 suspects, a lady and a man, who allegedly used stupefying drugs on their victim, have been arrested and charged in Shanzu for drugging a businessman and stealing 375,000 shillings and 10 mobile phones valued at 325 Kenyan shillings. According to a charge sheet, it is alleged that Stella Nyaboke alias Nyaboke and Daniel Yuyo on the 10th day of October 2022 in the Shanzu area of Kisauni Sub-County, Mombasa County, jointly with others not before the court, with intent to steal, committed a felony, namely administering stupefying drugs to Christopher Ombaso Oyaro. The 2 denied the charges before Shanzu Magistrate Yusuf Shikanda. They were released on a 2 million Kenya shillings bond or cash bail of 1 million shillings each. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
From the court, we want to take a very short break right here on TV 47 News Tonight. Plenty more ahead on the other side, including that deadly tragedy at the Juja Dam. You want to stick around for that. Tonight, Azimio la Umoja.
Are you looking for a distinguished institution of academic and professional excellence to kickstart your career? Then join KIPS Technical College, a top-NEC, CASNEB and NEET examination center in Kenya that is fully accredited by TVET Authority with over 90% national exam pass rate. We offer high-quality, hands-on training in engineering, hospitality, tourism, journalism, ICT, business, accounting, hairdressing and beauty, health sciences, community development and foreign language, and have placed over 26,000 graduates since 1994. Our state-of-the-art equipment, well-equipped workshops, indoor and outdoor sports facilities make us the preferred choice.
During my training, I was able to become Miss KIPS, which has helped me to achieve my goals in community development.
Admissions for January 2023 intake is ongoing. For more information, call 0720-813-113 or visit any of our 6 campuses located within Nairobi. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Tricent School of Medical Health Science and Technology is a premier training institute for market-driven courses. With state-of-the-art facilities, competent and dedicated members of staff, and linkages with the medical industry, you are assured of a bright future when you study with us. Enroll today in our campuses at Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay.
huwezi enda nayo huko ndani, unaacha hapo kwa luggage ndio uingie.
Ni wacho kwa luggage namna gani na nataka kutumia huko ndani? Nimekuja na hii gani ndio inatumika? Hii paketi ama hii kuchota? Kwani serious hii? Bwana wacheni mchezo bwana. Nini nyinyi?
Karibu customer. Hizi bidhaa unaziacha pale kwenye luggage ndipo ufanye shopping kwa supermarket yetu. Kuchota ni kufanya shopping pekee.
Ni kufanya shopping.
Lima na Hetia Supermarket ndio best. Kwa mara nyingine tena, Hetia Supermarket inakuletea chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket. Kushiriki shindano la chota kuchota. Bunawe, Kitale, Bungoma, Eldoret, Kakamega, Kisumu, Busia, Naivasha, Limuru, Nairobi, Thika, Nyeri, Meru, Chuka na Maua. Nunua bidhaa ya shilingi 600 na zaidi na utapewa raffle ticket. Jaza vizuri na utumbukize kwa sanduku iliyo mlangoni. Utakuwa umeingia kwa draw ya kujishindia zawadi Daihatsu Mira, pikipiki 21 aina ya TVS, 1130 school fees, TVS, shopping vouchers na vingine vingi.
Basi, ni huku. Saidia bibi.
Chota kuchota imethaminiwa na Iwe Bacon, Savannah Juice Fruit Vial, My Choice Hand Wash, Zesta Choco Primo, Ketepa, Blue Band, Aramco, Oven Fresh Bread, Nivea, Silent Night Mattresses, Coca-Cola pamoja na Hisense. Shindano hili limeidhinishwa na BCLB permit number 002816. Sheria na masharti kutumika.
Chota kuchota na Hetia Supermarket, na hii motokaa gari smart kabisa inaweza kuwa yako. Unangoja nini? Ingia, fanya shopping yako Hetia Supermarket, uchoto kuchote na hii gari. Hii motokaa inaweza kuwa yako. Mtu anaweza pesa kwa busi.
Hetia Supermarket, a world of choice. Imagine starting your academic journey here at the foot of Mount Kenya. A place where you can call home. A place where we celebrate our diversity and uniqueness. A place where you can be at your best, at work and at play. That place is Embu College. There's no better place to make the difference than Embu College. Karibu Embu College, where a holistic education matters.
All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with TV47 News tonight. Now, finally, the bodies of the two people who drowned into a dam in Juja, Kiambu County have been retrieved. The two were said to be in the car having fun by the dam side before the car they were in reversed and was submerged by the water. The body of the woman was retrieved earlier today, while that of the man was retrieved this evening together with the wreckage of the vehicle. Now, residents living around the dam have been urged to be vigilant when visiting the area or visit the place during the day when there are many people, to make it easier in providing emergency assistance in the event of such a disaster. Murera Ward MCA Ngatha Wambiri says that the dam must now be fenced to protect lives.
Tuliweza kuja na tukatoa mwili wa msichana mmoja, halafu leo tumerudi na tumetoa mwili wa mvulana. Kutoka hapo tumeng'ang'ana na tukaweza kutoa gari ambayo ilikuwa huko ndani katikati ya damu. Ndio. Ile changamoto ilikuwa ni kwamba gari ilikuwa huko katikati ya damu, mahali very deep. Lakini kwa sababu tuko na wapiga mbizi divers, waliweza kwenda huko wakiwa wamebebea hewa oxygen, wakaweza kufunga gari na tumeweza, tukisaidiwa na private breakdown, tumeweza kutoa hiyo gari kwa dam.
Tukiendelea kama kiongozi hapa, niko na mswada nataka kuleta kwa bunge ili all the dams zikuwe zimesigirwa, tuone vile kama tutazuia watu kupoteza maisha yao juu ya damu.
From Juja, we go all the way to Kiambu, where days after lecturers at the Egerton University expressed their dissatisfaction with the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Isaac Kibwage's way of managing the institution, the Vice-Chancellor has responded to the allegations against him, terming them as baseless. Here now is Titi Josephine with that report.
In a press conference held in Nakuru last Thursday, members of the University Academic Staff Union WASO voiced their disappointment with the current management. The Dons called for the resignation of the leader and for new leadership to take over. The union believes that this change is necessary to address the issues they have with the current management.
We are asking them with all humility that they should do the honorable thing. That is to leave the offices and other people can occupy them.
The Vice-Chancellor of the university has, however, responded to the calls for his resignation by pointing out that the university receives 185 million shillings from the government as funding. He stated that the university pays tax as a priority with this funding and the remaining funds are used to pay dues to employees.
The government gives us 185 million per month. We raise through fees on the average 26 million per month. This is paid twice in the start of the 2 semesters, but then we spread it over so that we are able to deal with the salary issue. This is against a payroll of about 240 million. If you do your mathematics, you will see that we have a deficit. And that is why we have been unable to fully pay salaries.
He has defended the university's management by pointing out that the institution is not the most indebted among its peers, further explaining that the issue of redundancy is to replace the already exited lecturers with new ones in order to cover the units that the institution offers.
So people will be declared redundant and others will be employed, because they are coming in for a specific need to replace those who have left, to come and take care of expansion of a degree program. But this one which has contracted and is not attracting anybody, those who are teaching it, what are we supposed to do with them? If it is you, what will you do with them? So you let them go. Exactly.
In reference to payment of the Dons, he said that they will seek to get more allocation from the government and settle the dues, as he also noted that Egerton University is on its feet and will be holding its graduation on 10th of February this year.
There is no government which has ever been defeated to deal with this wage bill for these workers. And we, as management, we know that the government is doing something.
Titi Josephine, TV 47.
To Uasin Gishu now, where a farmer in Maize Bridge in Uasin Gishu County is counting massive losses after he was allegedly duped of over 160 bags of maize by unscrupulous people who posed as buyers and promised to deposit the money in his bank account within 2 hours. However, farmer's attempts to withdraw the funds from his account after 2 days were unsuccessful, despite having received an SMS notification of the deposit transaction from his bank. Here now is Ronnie Reagan with the details of the story, narrated by Elizabeth Atieno.
As they say, when the deal is too good, think twice. However, this saying did not cross the minds of farmers in Uasin Gishu as they were approached by people posing as buyers. Jamin Mulera narrates with sadness what befell him.
Tarehe 13 watu walikuja hapa wanataka mahindi. Sisi tukakubaliana nao wachukue mahindi. Ikawa wapeleke pesa kwa account. Kwenda wakapeleka pesa kwa account, kumbe walilipa kwa hiyo account na check ambayo ilikuwa drawn on a closed account.
The incident has left many residents with more questions than answers, the biggest of them being the identity of the people who reaped where they did not sow and why they committed such atrocious acts confidently.
Mimi kupata message kutoka kwa benki ya kwamba pesa zimeingia kwa account, mimi nilikalilizi mahindi wakaenda nayo. Wakati walienda nayo, baadaye Jumatatu nikataka kuchukua pesa kutoka kwa hiyo account. Message ikakuja kwa simu yangu ikasema no money.
The farmers can now only wish to recover their maize, considering that a sack of maize now retails at 6,000 shillings.
Maana sio sisi peke yetu tumeumizwa wakulima wengi, kila mtu analia saa hii, mabrokers wamekuja. Tulikuwa tunaomba kama serikali inaweza kutupatia mtu mmoja ambaye tutakuwa tunamwamini sisi kama wakazi wa Uasin Gishu, akuwa ananunua mahindi yetu na akitupatia pesa, lakini maneno ya mabrokers tumekataa.
The lorry that was used by the corn artist to ferry the maize has however been recovered by police.
Na hiyo mahindi ilikuwa inauzwa kwa minajili ya kupeleka mama mzazi hospitali, kwa sababu sisi wote tunaelewa katika mji huo kuna mama ambaye amekuwa na ugonjwa wa figo, anafanyiwa dialysis every now and then.
There has been a spike of similar cases of fraud through SMS and social media in Kenya. The fraudulent individuals getting away with the crime oblivious of the hurt and frustrations they afflict on their victims.
Nataka police mostly watusaidie.
Calls have been made to the National Cereals and Produce Board to help cushion farmers from traders who apply such dubious means.
Moving on, and a bishop and his wife were forced to flee from the offices of Caring Hearts Girls High School in Matungulu, that is in Machakos County, after it was discovered that they had been pretending to be in need and that their daughter was from a single mother who is poor and in need. The organization is meant to provide assistance to poor children who cannot access secondary education, as Zainab Mohammed now tells us.
According to the school's founder, Dr. Vincent Kituku Muso, the bishop and his wife, who owned a big church in Kitengela, came to the school in 2019, posing as poor people in need of the school's support. Their daughter, who has since cleared school, was then enrolled, enjoying the full benefits of a student at the school at zero costs.
We are dealing today with the case of Bishop Ezekiel Macharia, who has a church in Kitengela. And he brought his daughter here a few years ago, 4 years ago. And that daughter was educated by the organization, paying little and nothing, and because we were told that she had a very bad background, vulnerable background.
The school, through their advocates, have served the couple with a letter demanding they pay 450,000 shillings plus debt collection charges of 75,000 shillings to be collected within 7 days.
He is now required by our legal advisors to pay 450,000, and that is not even enough, because actually this girl has been here and she has been taken to academic trips, sports trips, and a lot of other benefits of being in Caring Arts, and now she was not paying anything.
Their daughter will also lose out on opportunities such as getting a university scholarship, a laptop, and a job opportunity at the school due to the actions of her parents. Efforts to speak to the bishop and his wife bore no fruits as they sped out of the school in the hopes of avoiding media coverage. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Elsewhere, the government has 5 months to implement a ruling made by the African Court on Human and People's Rights in Arusha about the resettlement of Ogiek community that was evicted from the Mau Forest land. A consultative forum held at a hotel in Nairobi, the chairperson of the Commission on Administrative Justice, Florence Kajuju, is calling on all concerned government agencies to implement the various reparations issued by the court to ensure the community gets justice. Among the orders include limiting demarcation and issuing title deeds of lands belonging to the Ogiek community, recognizing them as a tribal community in Kenya, and compensation for moral and material prejudice meted on them historically.
From the Minister of Interior, Minister of Lands, National Lands Commission, today is the day that you're going to give the Ogiek community. It's not a gift, it is a right that they deserve. So it's upon government to tell us how they're going to ensure they implement the African Court judgment. That's why you're here.
The government was also told to publish the 2 rulings in Kenyan Gazette within 6 months. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say 6 months are gone and they have not published.
I will not speak on compliance because I have no instructions from my clients. What I can say is that they are now new peers in position. They will need time to internalize the judgment in question, and then they will give their position on the aspect of compliance.
To the world of business now, where 5 new Kenya Revenue Authority board members have been sworn in to join the tax body. Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Ann Amadi, presided over the swearing-in ceremony of the new Kenya Revenue Authority board members at the Supreme Court of Kenya. All right, at this particular point in time, we want to cross over to the world of sports, but first, let us get the ID. Tunaenda wapi sasa? The National Olympic Committee has officially closed the 10-day under-18 youth camp that was held in Kajiado County. The camp featured 135 youth players and 31 coaches, this being the first youth camp this year, with the next one set to happen in April, August and December. The officials believe after imparting skills to the athletes, they will perform exemplary in the games ahead, as it is a long term.
What I can say, it's a great opportunity for these young ones, because this is where the champions are made. And I can tell you, as a country, I'm certain that we are going to do well in terms of youth development.
Actually, I feel good. My experience has been good, because if I look at the program, we have been having like training every session. I can say thrice a day, and it has been good, because most of our time we use is training, you know. And since last week, we've been improving on our weak areas, and our coach has been giving us all his support.
So the camp helps me to improve my social skills. It also helps me to learn the things that I didn't know from my fellow teammates. Like, I know I can't do it all by myself. It helps me also to do teamwork. It shows me the importance of teamwork, because it takes two to tango. So like, I get to learn how it is to be with friends, and how it is to cycle with friends, to cycle in a bunch. And I learn a lot from my friends, because I get to learn things that I never knew, things that I don't know, and experience them as well.
Elsewhere, Robson Chinyoi has defeated overnight leader Njoroge Kibugu by 8 shots to claim the title of the 4th leg of the Safari Golf Tour at Par 72 Sigona Golf Club. Chinyoi played consistent golf throughout the tournament, carding rounds of 70, 70, 74 and 69, finishing the 4-round event with a total score of 283, as his competitor Greg Snow, who finished second, tied with Chibungu, who dropped few shots on the final round to finish with a total score of 287. Chinyoi took home a prize money of 300,000 Kenya shillings, while second place Snow bagged 200,000. The tournament attracted top professionals and amateur players from all over Africa. The next event will be held at the current country club from 4th to 8th of February this year.
My t-shirts were a bit slow, and everything was just slow for me. I have a better chance for making it into Kenya Open, because I'm leading the World of Merit, and plus this win, I think I'm leading with more points, and I have enough points for me to qualify for Kenya Open. I just need to finish well on the last two tournaments.
First 2 days, honestly, I hit the ball well, just couldn't putt, and my chipping and putting was a bit off. Fixed that this morning, and everything came together. Hit the ball well, chipped really well, and sung some parts. Last time I played here, I was really young and I didn't hit the ball as far, didn't have as much knowledge. But now it's a bit different.
Moving on, the National Cereals and Produce Board NCPB men's handball team head coach Brian Matthews has been named the Sports Journalism Association of Kenya Coach of the Month of December of last year. Matthews, who also doubles up as the NCPB ladies team head coach, led the Millers to the East and Central Africa Club Championship title after defeating Tanzanian champions Ng'ombe 24-18 in the title deciding match played in Zanzibar last month. For his exemplary performance, Matthews was awarded 100,000 Kenya shillings, of course, together with other merchandise.
Good assistant coaches who we are in sync. So whatever we agree on, even if I'm there with the boys and one is there with the ladies team, things flow. I don't doubt my team and my team don't doubt me.
Elsewhere, Kariobangi Sharks registered a 3-3 draw against Vihiga Bullets in the 8th leg of the FKF Premier League match that was played at the Kasarani Annex Field. Vihiga Bullets took the lead inside 22 minutes of play through Nicholas Masaba's strike as Daniel Shikanda scored the equalizer for Sharks before adding the second few minutes to the interval as Sigmund Minor added the third for Sharks. And as things seemed to be on the Sharks side, Vincent Ogola pulled one back as Nicholas Halake added the third for Vihiga Bullets to force an unexpected 3-3 stalemate. Elsewhere, Gor Mahia registered a barren draw against Sofapaka. AFC Leopards trashed Mathare United 2-0. KCB defeated Nairobi City Stars 1-0 as league leaders Nzoia Sugar stand Wazito 4-0. The Kilifi County Government Sports Department has initiated the process of identifying football teams that play in various leagues so that they can get their participation fees paid for by the county government. Speaking during the annual Oscar Wanje football tournament held at the Mara Grounds in the Ganda Ward, Youth and Sports Chief Officer Naftal Owino says his department will work closely with the Kilifi County Kenya Football Federation to identify the teams that will be factored in the program, calling upon stakeholders to organize themselves for easy funding of the clubs, while Malindi Sub-County Kenya Football Federation Tom Lango added that the fund will be held the teams which were struggling to raise participation fees, the leagues due to the financial constraints, and some teams ended up dropping out of the leagues.
Sub-county league inalipwa 12,500. Ukija katika county league ni 21,500. Ukija kwa regional ni 25,500. Ukija division 2 unakwenda 35. Ukija division 1 unakwenda mpaka 45-50. Hizo ni registration peke yake, mbali na zile ambazo wanatumia kwenye usafiri na kupiga game.
Kweli kuna shida kwa affiliation na participation fees. Ninachowaomba ni kwamba ili tuwasaidie katika mswada huo, nyinyi pia mjipange ili tuweze kutana na nyinyi kama the entire county KFF office.